see, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, said he's going to decertify all Canadian registered aircraft in the United States unless Canada certifies the Gulfstream aircraft. Now, the Canadians are working on certifying the newer Gulfstream aircraft, the beautiful aircraft they are too, the 500, 600, 700, 800, whatever, which are very big competitors in the ultimate corporate jet aircraft size. That's the Gulfstream we've talked about, and the aircraft behind me, which is a Global Express, that I took delivery of in 2010. Magnificent aircraft, and capable of flying up to 50,000 feet and at speeds of in excess of Mach 0.9, the new one up to Mach 0.95. And both the Gulfstream and the Global Expresses have exceeded Mach 1 in test flights. They're incredible aircraft. But of course they have a problem when you've got that high. All jet aircraft flying at those altitudes above 30,000 feet and can get to fuel temperatures where it can drop to below minus 50 or 60. Jet A1 fuel, which we use, freezes at around about minus 47 degrees centigrade. Okay, so, but having said that, you could be flying along quite often at higher altitudes, depending on the day, the temperature, etc. It could be minus 50, minus 60 degrees. So if you've got a long flight, and it's 10 or 11 or 12 hours, these aircraft are capable of longer than that, could the fuel freeze and could it cause a problem with the fuel? Because the fuel, when it gets colder, gets very, very thick. And would there be ice crystals? There's always some water in the fuel you get, Did you know that? Yes, I know. We try to avoid it, but it's inevitable. But with modern fuel exchange units and the fuel pumps and the pressure pumps and everything, the aircraft is designed to cope with all those sort of things. So it's not going to be a problem. However, Canada are insisting on the newer requirements, not the older requirements where they certified the previous Gulfstreams, such as the 4 and the 450s. Okay, because they were certified under a different category. Now, for America to say that they're going to ban all Canadian-made aircraft, the Canadians make a lot of other aircraft, apart from these beautiful Global Expresses and their 605s, etc. They make a lot of small and medium-range aircraft operated by a lot of American companies, such as Delta and American. Are they going to decertify those and stop them flying? That would be catastrophic for the American, commuter. So I don't think that's going to happen, and I'm sure they'll come to some agreement about that. But Trump should just back off on this. This is a safety issue. When it comes to aircraft safety, don't fuck around with it. It's fucking stupid, and it's unnecessary, and quite childish and churlish. So grow up. I talked about something that's near and dear to my heart is Iran. I don't know what's happening down there. All I know is that the people of Iran have got my full support, and I wish you well. And I hope that Donald Trump and that huge armada he's got down there, along with other people, will do something about it instead of sitting there on the bloody fence while the poor old people of Iran suffer the consequences. The brutality of the regime over 4.5 decades is quite bloody ridiculous. I'm worried about Syria now. That former ISIS leader, who's now the president, has attacked the Turks up in the... Well, it's not the Turks, actually. It's the folk up in the northeast corner there. And they've been attacked, and now they're being integrated back into the Syrian army. I'm not sure that's going to work at all. This is a very serious situation. I am worried what's happening in Syria, and we should all be looking at that very, very carefully. I know that the Israelis probably are, and they're the only ones who can keep a lid on that. And let's hope for peace. That's the most important thing. I just got to talk briefly, and I mentioned it before. It's about gold and silver. I haven't mentioned it in any way. I'm not clever enough to do it. But I did say very briefly that what goes up must come down. It's like an aeroplane eventually when you run out of fuel. But now, talking about that, silver plunges 30% in worst day since 1980, and gold tumbles as Walsh, who's the new Fed chairman, it was announced in Washington. So we have silver now at 84.63, and gold dropped from a high of over $5,500 to $4,800. Still very high, of course, but it was quite a drop, and the short sellers will have made a fortune. Those who are still holding longer positions will have lost a fortune. So be very aware if you're a day trader and you're trading gold and silver at the moment. It is extremely volatile, and I'm not a day trader anymore. I used to be, but I was one of those many day traders who lost money, because most day traders don't have the ability to make money. It just looks like it's going to be easy, and it ain't. You can buy long or sell short or whatever you think. Well, it's fucking easy to do. It's easy to lose money. I can tell you that now. It's fucking easy. So be very, very aware, and just keep an eye on that. If you're doing it, I would advise you to have some sort of program that's instantaneously available to put stop losses on, etc. Don't forget to do that if you're a day trader. Talking very briefly now, and I'm not going to go on about it, is the United Nations. Apparently, Guterres has said that the United Nations are broke because Trump has stopped paying the money in, quite rightly so. The United Nations is a broken model. I've gone on about that. Look at poor old Ukraine after nearly 4 years of violence perpetrated by Russia into that country, and they're suffering in this winter. A terrible situation. I know there's a temporary ceasefire, but it's only enabling Russia to build up, and it'll probably hit them really harder than ever before. But they haven't won that war in nearly 4 years now. In next month, it'll be 4 years since that attack happened. And the Russians' losses are exceptionally high, but we don't know the exact what the situation is. I tend to steer away from Ukraine and try and there's too many other people pontificating and saying, breaking news, we've got this, we've got that. Nobody really fucking knows what's going on over there. I certainly don't. I wish I did. All I know is Slava Ukraini, and I just, my heart goes out to the people of Ukraine. Nearly 4 years of that violent war, and Donald Trump is going to finish that and sort that out in a day, which of course was always a load of shit. You can't do that. And Putin, of course, is the master puppeteer, and he goes on and just carries on the way he'll carry on. He doesn't care about Russia. You go to St. Petersburg or Moscow, it looks fantastic. Go to the rest of Russia, parts of it are in dire straits. Terrible. I mean, they're on the poverty line. The weather's been appalling this year, one of the coldest winters ever in the Northern Hemisphere, although the climate change activists don't agree with it. But it's a bloody fact. And Russia is in deep trouble. But you wouldn't know that either. I just wish that war could be finished. It's right on our bloody doorstep here, and the United Nations have done nothing. The quicker they abandon it, the better. As for that organisation Trump has set up where you've got to pay $1 billion to join the club, I think that's a fucking disaster. And look at the people who are joining, for God's sake. What a joke. And he's going to be chairman for life, apparently, even when he finishes as the president of the United States in, 3 years' time. What a fucking joke. But the United Nations, a shame on them. They've done nothing to help stop these wars. They have been absolutely toothless and gutless. And the International Court of Human Rights, wind your fucking neck in when it comes to British problems. We've got enough problems with our own bloody Prime Minister, who has no idea what he's fucking doing on this tour over there. He's just been to China, and we've achieved nothing in that respect. And he's popped over to Japan. They don't really want him there because that lady over there's got an election in early February. I don't think she really wanted him there. But he thought he'd go over there and be statesman-like. That'll be the fucking day. He does not have that je ne sais quoi. It's a bit like this Lammy, sitting in Parliament there, and we're talking about the Chagos Islands deal, which is an appalling deal and should be scrapped immediately. And now, of course, the Mauritians, we're going to give them that and have to pay them to give it to them. How bloody ridiculous. And they've no right to be in charge of the Chagos Islands, which is tiny and about 1,000 kilometres from Mauritius. How bloody ridiculous this was. It should be stopped immediately. And then they're saying, we don't want any nuclear weapons there. Plays right into the hands of you-know-who. I just think it's appalling, and the sooner this bloody government wake up and stop it, and why they're in such a urgency to do it from the day they've already got in there. You got bloody Starmer and Lammy, who are as useless as tits on a bull, those two. They should be ashamed of themselves, what they're doing to the British public and wasting our money. We've got other things to worry about. I could go on forever about immigration and out of control, immigration and the violence perpetrated by some of these unregistered people, but I'm not going to. It's Saturday afternoon now, and I'm going to say au revoir, take care, look after yourself for Pete's sake.